So last time we left off here, right? So we just made this, right? So if you go to our text editor and open our image, right? Let me just minimize this. So we had made this part. So now we're just gonna add these navigation buttons here, right? So if you go to our home.kv file, right? Underneath this box layout, we're gonna put a navigation tab. So we're just gonna make this custom navigation button soon. So now we're just gonna put it in the home.kv file. Then we're gonna put it in our widgets folder in the buttons.kv file. So here we're gonna say navigation tab. Then we're gonna say let's look if you have an icon here. Okay, we don't have an icon, so we're just gonna say text. Text. This is going to be overview. Then let's look at our image again. So looking at our image, right, our navigation tab, the first one that has a state set to down, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to set the state to down. Then the rest we're just going to leave them set to normal. Then we're going to give these navigation tabs a group name. We're just going to call it navigation, so that if we click on this one, right, this one is going to be, the state is going to be set to down. Then the previous one is going to be set to normal. Then we're going to make sure that if we click the navigation that is already set to down, right, it's not going to turn to normal. So let's go to our KV file. Then here I'm going to say group, and we're going to set it to navigation. Then on state, we're going to say here, let me just put this for now. So here, right, we haven't, if you go down here in our main window, right, we haven't put a screen manager in here. So now we're just gonna leave it like this. But then later we're gonna put a screen manager. Then here we're gonna say home screen. So let me just put it manager dot current. I'm gonna set this one to, let's just say, overview screen. So let me just copy this. So let's look at our image, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So we're gonna paste this 4 times. So now we have 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one is going to be transactions. This one is going to be counts. This one is going to be categories. And this one is going to be settings. Okay. Now down here, let's just put a box layout, an empty box layout. So let's navigate to our widgets folder and our buttons. Okay. So, okay, let's put it down here. Let's just put a comment. Then you're gonna say navigation tab. Navigation tab. Then we're gonna say class navigation tab. It's gonna inherit from toggle button behavior. Then we're gonna put a box layout in there. You're gonna have text, which we're gonna set to a string property. Okay, so down here, let me just copy these. You just need this. We're gonna need this also. Okay, we're gonna say size int y. We're gonna set it to none, and our height, we're gonna set it to 30 display pixels. Okay, looking at our image, right? So inside this navigation tab, we have a little bit of padding. So let's go back to our buttons.py file. So here we're gonna say padding, and we're gonna set it to 10 display pixels on the left. Then we're gonna say 0 on top, 0 on the right, and 0 on the bottom. Then here we're gonna say converse dot before color, then RGBA. So here we're gonna say it's going to be transparent if root dot state is equals to normal, else here we're gonna say 0, it's 0 comma 0.788, then you're gonna say comma 0.72. It's I don't know, let's just check it out first, then we're gonna work on it. If it's not looking all right, then comma opacity is we're gonna set it to 0.2. Here we're gonna say rectangle pause, we're gonna say self dot pause. Then size we're gonna set it to self dot size also. Okay, and here we're gonna put an MD label. Our text is going to come from root dot text. Let's look at our image. Okay, as we can see here, right, if the navigation tab is if the state of the navigation tab is set to down, right, the text is blue in color, but if it's not, it's black in color. So let's go to our buttons.py. So here we're gonna say let's just put the font style first. Say font style, we're gonna set it to label, then raw, we're gonna set it to small, bold, when I set it to true, then color. So here we're gonna say 0,0,0,1, which is black, if root dot state is equals to normal, else let's say RGBA. Here we're gonna say hashtag 96, it's 0096C7. Okay, so let's go to our app folder and we're gonna import this navigation tab. Okay, Control C, Control V. Okay, so let's try running this. I hope this works out. We need to reduce this the amount of time this splash screen takes to switch screens. We're just gonna reduce it to maybe 4 seconds, just for the purpose of this tutorial, so that we can make everything faster. So here, let's click here. Okay. um Home screen manager is not defined. Okay, fine. Let's go to our home.kv file. So this one, we're gonna set the state. This one is going to be down. So this one is going to be settings. This one is going to be 30. This one is going to be that's accounts. This one is going to be transactions. Okay, so let's go to our box layout, right? So here, let's put a screen manager here. I'm gonna give it an ID of home screen manager. And in here, we're gonna put how many screens is it? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, name is going to be, first one was overview screen. So let's copy this and we're gonna paste it 4 times. This one is going to be settings screen. This one is going to be categories. This one is going to be accounts, and this one is going to be transactions. Okay, let's open our splash screen folder. Okay, we'll set the time to 10. Let's set it to 5. Okay, close this. So let's run this and see if we don't get any errors. Okay. So navigation tabs are working properly. But if you look here, right, if we press this, right, so this one is just the state has been set to normal. So what we're gonna do is make sure that if we set this one the state to down, right, if we double click it, we don't set the state to normal again. So if we go back to our text editor, right, to our buttons.py file, on top here, let's just put it right here. So you're gonna say allow no selection, and we're gonna set this to false. So let's try it out. Okay, so now we can click this as many times as we want. The state is gonna remain set to down. Okay, let's go back to our text editor. So let's go back to our home.kv file. Okay, so let's look at our overview.png, right? So on top of these, on our main window, right, we see that on top we have this user image, then we have welcome, then this is some dummy data, then on the right we have this logout button. So what we're gonna do is let's go to our home.kv file. On top of the screen manager, we're gonna put a box layout. We're gonna set the height. I'm gonna say size int y. We're gonna set it to none, and our height, we're gonna set it to, let's say, so nah. We need to set it to 30 display pixels. I'm gonna put some spacing of 10 display pixels, right? So here we're gonna put a box layout. So we're gonna say size into X. We're gonna set it to none, and our width, we're gonna set it full. Our width is going to be self dot height. Here we're gonna say canvas dot before color, then RGBA, I'm gonna set it to white. Here we're gonna say rounded rectangle. Here we're gonna say let's put a radius of self dot height. Size, we're gonna say self dot size, then pause, we're gonna say self dot pause index 0 minus 2. Then we're gonna say self dot pause, then we're gonna say 1 minus 2. So what we're gonna do here, right, is we're gonna sort of create a shadow. So this is gonna have a shadow effect. So let's just copy this and paste it here again. This one is going to be a self dot pause. So let me just say here, then you're gonna say source. So this is going to be our image, right? Our profile image or a user avatar. So you're gonna say root dot avatar. Alright, so let's open our home dot py file with our home dot folder. Okay, here on top here, we're gonna say avatar is equals to a string property. Here we're gonna say, let's open our assets folder and our images folder. So we have avatar.png. So here we're gonna say assets images avatar.png. Let's go back to our home.kv file. Okay. So underneath here, let me just create some space here. So here I'm gonna put a float layout. I'm just gonna copy this. So this is where our login button is going to be. Then here I'm gonna have an MD label, but for now I'm just gonna leave it empty. So let me just run this and see if Our first box layout is looking alright. Okay, so we need to give this some padding. So let's go up here. Okay, so let's get rid of this. So this should fix our padding issue. Okay, let's go back to our text editor. Okay, so here this is going to be RGBA. Then when I say F1, 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 then on this label, on this MD label, when I say text, I'm gonna say welcome. Let's add a comma here, some space, then plus here we're gonna say root dot let's just say user. Then here we're gonna give some font styling. We're gonna say font style going to be label raw, going to be medium, and bold going to be true. Okay, here we're gonna put an MD icon button. Our icon is going to be logout. Gonna say you're gonna say theme, text, color going to be custom, and text color is going to be hashtag HD8A8C. We'll give this a position hint. When I say center X, and I set it to 0.5, then center Y, we're gonna set it to 0.5. So this is going to be at the center of the float layout. Then when I say on press, it's going to be root dot logout. So we haven't created this function yet, but we're just gonna create it in a minute. Okay, so let's get rid of this spacing and run this. Okay, what seems to be the problem now? Okay, this should be 0. I hope that's the issue. Okay, what else now? Root.user. So we don't have root.user. Here we're gonna say user is going to be string property. So for now, let's just say, I'm just gonna say Tanaka picture. So let's run this again. Okay, this is looking all right. So let's just create this logout function first, then we're gonna worry about the other things. Okay, so let's minimize this. Minimize this. So let's go to our widgets folder and our popups.py file. Okay, so we have a confirm pop-up. Be fine. So let's go to our home.py file. So underneath here, we're gonna say define logout. So here we're gonna say logout is equals to confirm pop-up, right? So we're gonna say logout dot okay, so we imported it from our widgets dot pop-ups import confirm pop-up. So you're gonna say title is going to be, are you sure you want to log out? You're gonna say logout dot callback going to be self dot logout underscore callback. Here we're gonna say logout dot open. So underneath here we're gonna create the logout callback function. So you're gonna say logout callback. You're gonna say self comma star bugs. Then we're gonna say here we're gonna say session underscore file is equals to session dot json. So let's just open our auth folder, then our auth.py file. So let's just look for where we wrote something to our session.py file. Okay, so let's just copy this function, Control C, then our home.py file. So we need to get rid of this. We need to get rid of this. Okay, so here we're gonna paste this here. So okay, we need to import our JSON, import this name, import JSON. This one here, we're gonna control D this and put 0 here. Here, let's control D this, get rid of it, then just put empty quotes. We need to import this MD app. So here we're gonna say import from KivyMD.app import MD app. So this one is gonna, let's just say auth screen here. So what we're gonna do here is when you call the logout function, right, it's gonna give us a pop-up, and if we say yes, this pop-out what's the pop-out gonna do is gonna call this logout callback function, and inside this logout callback function, right, it's gonna write in our JSON file, right, it's gonna put 0 on our user ID and our username is going to be empty. So in our splash screen, right, let's open our splash screen. We said if the user ID is equals to 0, then our MD app is gonna take us to the auth screen. So that's what we just did here. So what we did is we set our user ID to 0. Then this is gonna take us to the auth screen. So if you close the app and run it again, right, our user ID is going to be 0. So the system is gonna take us to the auth screen. So whenever we log out, next time we run the app, the system is always going to be logged out and it's going to take us to the auth screen, right? So here on this on enter function, so what we want to do is we need to read from this session.json file, right? Then after we get the information, then we're going to populate these two variables. So here we're gonna copy this, then we're gonna paste it here. This one is going to be an R. Here we're gonna say the first one is user. User is going to be gonna say session dot get uh, uh, username. This is going to be self dot. Then our session is going to be JSON dot load file, like this. Then we're gonna say self dot avatar is equals to here we're gonna say assets images. Then we're gonna say session dot get dot png. Okay, this should be session so since we used double quotes here, so let's put single quotes here. Okay, now the error is gone. So let's just run this and see if this works. Okay, so now our user is now ASD, right? So let's go back to let's get rid of this and let's get rid of this. Okay, so I believe our home screen is working properly. So let's just run it again. I want to check something. Okay, are you sure you want to log out? Yes. Okay, let's try logging in again. And our password was 123456778. Oh, so our Docker container is not running. So let's just run our Docker container and we proceed to making our, what's the next screen? Okay, so we're gonna make the overview screen, then we're gonna start from the bottom. We're gonna create categories, accounts, then transactions, then finish up with settings. Then we're gonna make sure we fix the importing from our CSV file. Okay. Okay, so now we have our Docker desktop running, right? So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna click here. So okay, so when we made our container, right, we didn't give it a name. So what Docker does, Docker desktop is it's just gonna give us a random name, right? So I'm just gonna press this one because that's the last container that I made. So I'm just gonna click here. So let me just open it. Okay, your database system is ready to accept connection. So now I'm just gonna close this. So now that we have Docker running in the background, right? So we're gonna create our overview screen. If you look at our overview.png, right? Our overview screen is going to contain two vertical box layouts, and the first box layout is gonna have four box layouts inside of it. The orientation is going to be set to horizontal. Then underneath that we have box layout. That's where we're gonna have our graph. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open our terminal. Then inside our terminal we're gonna say cd views. Then inside that we're gonna say Python space create screen.py, then overview, which is going to be the name of our screen. So what this does is it's going to create our screens for us. Okay, screen overview created successfully. So let's open our views folder. Okay, so here we have our overview screen. So before we start working on it, we need to open our app folder and open the ini.py file. So underneath here, I'm gonna say import overview, then space views dot over dot overview. So okay, let's open our home folder, then our home.kv file. So we're gonna change this from screen to overview, right? So let's open our overview.kv file. So just to see if we didn't make any errors, we're just gonna put a button here and we run the system. Okay, so let's sign in. Our username we just said ASD, right? So here, then the password was 1234567 8. So let's sign in. Okay, so our overview screen is working fine. Now we have this button in here. So now let's get rid of this button and start working on our overview screen. I'm gonna go back to our text editor and get rid of this. So let's look at our overview.png. So let me just minimize this so we can just see the image more clearer. Right here you see that we have two vertical box layouts, right? So we have this small one here and a larger one here. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna create two box layouts. Then we're gonna work on the top one, which has four box layouts inside first. So if you go to our overview.kv, right? Underneath here, we're gonna put two box layouts. So let me just duplicate this, right? Here we're gonna say let's give it a size int of, let's say, 120 display pixels. Size int y, which we're gonna set to none, and the height we're gonna set it to 120 display pixels. We're gonna give it some spacing of 10 display pixels. Then this one we're gonna give it an orientation of vertical. So the first one we're not gonna give any orientation because the orientation is going to be like by default, box layout have an orientation set to horizontal. So in the second box layout, we're gonna give some spacing of 10 display pixels and some padding of 10 display pixels. So right now, let's just create some space here so that we can work on the top part. So inside here, I'm just gonna put a comment here. Then let's look at our image. So the first one is accounts. So we have accounts, expenses, income, and balance. Okay, so here we have accounts. Let me just copy this and duplicate it. Accounts, then expenses. So this should be income and balance. Okay, fine. So underneath the accounts comment, right, I'm gonna put a box layout. And this box layout, we're gonna give it an orientation of vertical. I'm gonna give it some padding of 10 display pixels and some spacing of 10 display pixels also. So if you look at our image, right, you can see that the account box layout is white. It has a background color of white, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this white background, right? Then we're just gonna put a thin line underneath here on the left and on the bottom part. So it's gonna simulate a shadow. But what this is supposed to do is just to make the box layout just pop out a little bit more. So let's go back to overview.kv. So here we're gonna say canvas dot before, then we're gonna say color GBA. So this is going to be 101,1,1,1. Then this is going to be a rounded rectangle. The pause is going to be self dot pause, and the size is going to be self dot size, and our radius is going to be 5,5,5,5. So let's close this here. So let's just copy this, then paste it on top here. So here we're gonna say you're gonna put these square brackets, then you're gonna put 0, then -2, comma, then you're gonna say self dot pause and index 1, then we're gonna say -2, and here I say RGBA hashtag F1. So let's run this and see how this looks. Okay, so we can see that on the bottom here, our box layout really pops out, so we can just really see it. So let's go back to our text editor. So underneath here, we're gonna put a box layout, because if you look at our image, right, we have these two in the same. So what we have here, so we put this box layout, we give it a orientation of vertical, right? So we're gonna put a box layout. I think we're gonna give it a height of 30 or 40 display pixels. So it's gonna contain this icon here and a label here. Underneath that one, we're going to put a label, which is going to contain this number. And underneath that, we're going to put a label, which is going to contain this date range. So here we're going to have, this one is going to be a box layout, and this one is going to be a label and a label. Okay, so we're going to give this box layout size int y. We're going to set it to none. And our height, we're going to set it to, let's say 30 display pixels. We're going to give this some spacing of 10 display pixels. I'm going to put a float layout here. We're going to say size int x. We're going to set this to none, and our width, we're going to say self dot height. So it's going to be the size of our height. So it's going to be a square. So here we're going to say canvas dot before. So you want to give it a background color. So here it's going to be RGBA. So let's give it a background color the same way you used to create a shadow, right? So here it's RGBA. Okay. Here it's going to be hashtag F1 F1 F1. Then we're gonna say rounded rectangle. I'm gonna say pause equals to self dot pause, and then size going to be self dot size. Then our radius, we're just gonna maintain the same radius for everything. We're gonna say 5,5,5,5. Then inside this float layout, we're gonna add an MDE icon. So our icon is going to be, let's say let's look at our image. So this is let's try account. We're gonna say account, then theme, text, color. It's going to be custom. Then here we're gonna say text, color. We're gonna set it to hashtag. Then we're gonna put 6 zeros. So it's going to be black. Then here we're gonna say pause, position int. So here is going to be center x. So we're gonna set it to 0.5, comma. Then center y, we're gonna set it to 0.5 also. Then here we're gonna put a name D label. Our text is going to be, let's look at our image. So our text is going to be account. Accounts, then H align. So we're gonna align this to the right. Then our font style. Let's put label. Let's see. Let's put title here. Then row. We're gonna set it to medium. Okay, so it's bold. So we're gonna set bold to true. Then underneath this box layout, let's put an MD label. So I'm just gonna copy everything in here, then paste it in here. Then I'm just gonna duplicate this one again. Let's see. So I think we need to get rid of this bold here. Then here we're gonna say small. This is going to be a label. So here what we wanna do is if you look at our overview.png, right? So this is some date range, right? So what we can do is we can make sure we get this from our overview.py file. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna say root dot let's just say date range, right? Then yeah, let's make this one large. Then this one we're gonna say so here this is going to be the number of accounts that we have in our system, right? So what we're gonna so it's going to be an integer. So here we're gonna say str, so we're gonna convert this to a string. So here we're gonna say root dot accounts. So we don't have these two variables just yet. So let's go to our overview.py. Right here we're gonna say accounts is equals to, so it's a numeric property. So let's import this. Okay, so we imported this from kivy.properties. So here let's just put up 0 as a placeholder. So let's duplicate this. So we have 4 box layouts, okay? But you're gonna paste it 3 times. So let's just paste the 5th time for our date range. Right, so this is going to be string property. So here, okay, let's look at our image. 25, okay. So here we're gonna say 28 January 2025 dash. So this is going to be 28 Feb 2025. Okay. So here, so what do we have here? So we have expenses, income, and balance. So since these are amounts, so they're going to be floats. So let me just copy Control D, Control D, Control D. Okay, so this one is going to be expenses, income, and this is going to be balance. What else do we need? I think we're gonna need a user ID. So this is going to be numeric property also. What else are we gonna need for now? So let's go to overview.kv, right? So here I think we need to give this a size int y. We're gonna say size int y. We're gonna set it to none, and our height we're gonna set it to 30 display pixels. So let's just copy this and we're gonna paste it here. Okay, let's type this inside and we're gonna paste it here. So then this one is going to be 20 display pixels. So let's get rid of this here. Because if you see, like, this one is already in this box layout, and this box layout is already set to a height of 30 display pixels. Right, so let's try running this and see if we don't have any errors before we go any further. Okay, seems like we have an error. Raw large. Where do we have large? Yeah, so this one should be in lowercase. Okay, so now we need to duplicate this 3 more times. This one is looking a little bit different from the one we have here. Looking a little bit different from this one. So what we're gonna do is let's go back here. Let's look for icon. So here we're gonna say dash outline. So that should fix the problem. So what we're gonna do, let's copy from here to here. Okay, so we're gonna paste this one here. This one is gonna say expenses. This one is gonna say root dot expenses. Our date range is gonna remain the same. Our icon, let's make it cash dash minus, and the color, let's just say 1,0,0,1. So this is going to be red. Let's paste this one here also. So this one is going to be income. This one is going to be income. Our icon is going to be cash plus. Color, I think we should add green. So this one is going to be 0,1,0,1. Then we need to paste this again. So this is going to be just cash, and the color here, let's make it blue. So here is going to be 0,0,1,1. Then here we're going to say balance. This is going to be balance. Okay, so if you look at our image, right, on expenses, income, and balance, we have a dollar sign there. So what we're gonna do is let's go back to our let me just make it full screen. It's much better. Okay, so here we're gonna say root dot currency, and we're gonna say plus. So we haven't made this one yet, but we're gonna make it so in a minute. Let me copy this here. Here also, let me paste it here. And here. So let's go to overview.py. Here we're gonna say currency equals to string property. So here I'm just gonna put a dollar sign. So let's run this. Okay, this is looking much better. But I think we need to change this color to gray. Right. So let's look at our overview PNG first. Okay, so this one is gray in color. So let's go to our overview.kv. So let's select these here and just Control D, Control D. and control D, then front. So you're gonna say color. This is going to be hashtag, let's say 8D8AAC. So let's run this again. Okay, this is looking much better now. So let's go back to our overview.kv. Let's get rid of this spacing. Right. So inside this box layout, right? Okay, let's first look at our overview.png. So we have this here. So this is like a label. Then this is a period. So this is saying select time period. Then we have current and previous. So and these are the color codes for our graph. So here we're gonna put two box layouts inside the main box layout. So the main box layout is going to have an orientation of vertical. So let's go back to overview.kv. So the first box layout, I'm gonna say box layout, and our orientation is going to be vertical, and our spacing is going to be 10 display pixels. I'm gonna put some size int y, and we're gonna set it to none, and our height we're gonna set it to 30 display pixels. And underneath this box layout, I'm gonna put another box layout. Then we're just gonna give it an ID of transactions plot. Okay. Inside this box layout, we're gonna put an MD label. Then we're gonna put a text. We're gonna give some text. Our text is going to be transactions. Then our font style is going to be title. Row is going to be medium, and bold is going to be true. Let's look at our image again. Okay, so we have this box layout. This is an MD label, an MD label, an MD label. Then we have this. This is like a drop down button. Okay, let's go back to our AV file. Here let's just copy this, make everything simpler and faster. So here we're gonna say, I think this is a label. Then raw is going to be small. Let's get rid of this bold. So this okay, this is period. Okay, control D, period. Let's put this then we're gonna add some color. So this is going to be, let's just put AD8A8C. And we're gonna give this a width. So you're gonna say size int X, gonna set it to none, and the width, let's set it to let's say 55 display pixels. Okay, so looking at our image, right, next to this label we have this. So this is we're gonna have to create a custom drop down button. So for now, let's just put this label, this color, this label, and this color. So if you go to overview.kv, so here we're just gonna copy this and paste it here. So this is going to be, let's look at our image. The first one was current and the next one was previous. Okay. So let's paste it again here. So this is previous and this current. Okay. So here I'm gonna put a box layout. Let's say size means X. We're gonna set it to none, and our width is going to be self.height. Then we're gonna give it some padding. Let's just put 10 display pixels. Then inside here we're gonna put a box layout. So we're not gonna put anything. You're just gonna give it background color. So it's going to say canvas.before color RGBA. So here we're gonna say RGBA pin codes hashtag 0096C7. Then you're gonna say bounded rectangle. Pause is going to be self.pause, and the size is going to be self.size. So you're gonna say radius. Let's put self.height for now. And if it's not looking okay, we're gonna change it later. So let's copy this and paste it underneath here. So the other one, let's just say Control D, FF, and 4 zeros. If it's not looking okay, we're gonna put 4 sixes. So let's run this. I seem to have an error. Rounded rectangle. Okay. Okay, what seems to be the issue now? I need to get rid of this. This should be horizontal. Okay, this is looking okay. So we need to give this background color of white. So what we're gonna do is let's just go to the top one, right? Let's copy this here. And paste it here. So let's tab it properly. Okay, so let's run this again. Okay, now it's looking much better. So now we need to put this custom drop down between these two labels here. So inside our text editor, right, we're gonna navigate our widgets folder and our buttons.py. So here, right, we're gonna say class. I'm just gonna call it custom drop down because I'm not good at naming things. So if you have a better name for this widget, you just use that one. So this is gonna inherit from let's just put a box layout. And inside the box layout, we're gonna put a spinner inside of it. Let's make this a float layout. So here we're gonna put some text. So our text is going to be some string property, and we're gonna put our values. Our values are going to be a list property. Right. Then here inside our PV, let's just put this here first. Let's copy this. Then in here, we're gonna put a float layout here. Now we already made this a float layout, so let's get rid of this. So let's put an MD icon here. Our icon is going to be, let's say, chevron down. I'm gonna say theme, text color. We're gonna set it to custom. Then our text color is going to be 8D8A 8C. Then our position int. Here we're gonna say center X. We're gonna set it to 0.1, and our center Y, we're gonna set it to 0.5. So what this is gonna do, right? So it's gonna be positioned towards the left side at 0.1% of the whole custom drop down window widget. I mean, then underneath here we're gonna put a spinner, right? So I'm gonna say text going to be root dot text, and values going to be root dot values. I'm gonna say sync width going to be true. Then sync height is also going to be true. Our font size going to be, let's set it to 11 scalable pixels. Then font underscore name, we're gonna set it to app dot body. What else can we add here? I'll say option. Then here we're gonna say factory dot sp. So if we open our init.py file, right? So this one sp, inheriting from spinner options. So this one you're gonna find it in the template folder in the init.py file. So this is how the options are gonna be displayed when you click on our spinner, right? So let's go back to our patterns.py, right? So here we're gonna say background color, we're gonna set it to transparent. Then we're gonna say background normal. We're just gonna put empty quotes here. Let me just copy this and paste it. Then this one is going to be background down. Then we're gonna put some position hint here. So let me just copy this here. But this is going to be 0.5. Our center X is going to be 0.5. Let's give it some color. So here we're gonna say color. So let's just maintain this gray color. So you're gonna say hashtag AD8AAC. Okay. So let's go to our init.py file. We need to import this custom navigation custom drop down. So let's just copy this here and paste it here. So this one is going to be custom drop down. So let's go to our overview.kv. So next to this period here, okay, we're gonna say custom drop down. So let's say size int x going to be none, and our width, let's set our width to, let's say 170 display pixels for now. Then we're gonna say text is going to be select date range dot. Then values. So let's go to our overview.py. I'm just gonna copy this. Then I'm gonna paste it here. Then I'm gonna say comma and paste it there again. So this one is going to be Feb, and this one is going to be March. So let's give this one an idea of date range. So let's run this and test it out. Hope we don't get any errors. Okay. We need to increase the size of this custom drop down button. So let's increase it. Let's just put 260. 260 should be fine. Okay. So now what we need to work on is the graph that's gonna appear here, and make sure these ones are when we add categories, accounts, and transactions, right? These are just gonna be ready to just update. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna open our overview.py and start working on the back end of this thing. So let's go to overview.py. So here, let's open our terminal. Here we're gonna say pip install. Hey, I'm making a lot of typos. Pip install numpy, scipy, matplotlib, kivy underscore garden, kivy underscore garden dot matplotlib. Let me check for, okay, matplotlib. So let's just run this. So I already have these installed, so mine is just gonna say package already installed. This okay. Requirement already satisfied. Okay, but on your end, if you don't have these packages installed, Pip is just gonna install these packages. So from here, let's continue. So let's open here. Here I'm gonna import the import numpy as np. I'm gonna say from scipy dot interpolate import make intep spline. Okay, then I'm gonna say import matplotlib dot pyplot as plot. Here we're gonna say from kivy garden dot matplotlib dot backend kivy import figure canvas kivy as fck. I hope I didn't butcher the spelling here. From kivy garden dot backend kivy okay. So let's minimize this and start working on everything else. So underneath here, we need to add our variables, the ones we're using to connect to our database. So you're gonna say host name. Okay. Not bad, but I just wanna do it the way I just did it before. So you're gonna say host name is equals to localhost. Let's copy this, paste it 3 more times. So the last one is going to be port. So our port was 5432, and this one was our password. It was passwd, and our password was mt1234567 8. Here we have user. Our user was mt, then database. We named our database bnap. Okay. So now I think what we need to do is we need to fetch our user ID from sessions.json like we did in our out.py file, so that we can use that user ID to fetch information on our accounts, expenses, income, and balance. So here we need to create a function. So here we're gonna say define. Let's call it get user ID. Here we're gonna say we're gonna put a try catch block here. So here is going to be session file going to be session.json. Then we're gonna say with open session file as file, right? You're gonna say session equals to JSON dot load file. Then self dot user ID is equals to hey, session dot user ID is equals to session dot get user ID. Then here we're gonna say accept file not found error. Then we're just gonna return none. So what this is going to do, right, is going to get the user ID and put it in this user ID, right? Then underneath that one, we need to get our accounts. We need to get the count straight from the database. What we're gonna do here, we're gonna say define. Let's call the function get it total accounts. Here we're gonna say con. So let's open our auth.py. So we can just copy some stuff here. Okay, let's copy this. So let's import this. We need to create some space here. So here we're gonna say try. Then I'm gonna say SQL is equals to select all from accounts where user ID is equals to and s. Then here we're gonna say cursor dot execute SQL comma, put on this one in brackets, a string. Then inside the string, I'm gonna put self dot user ID. And I'm gonna say counts is equals to cursor dot fetch all. Then we're gonna close our connection. And I say self dot accounts is equals to the length of accounts. Then we're gonna say what is auth.py? Okay, so let's just copy this here. So we need to import this. I think we shouldn't get any problems with this one. Okay, so we're just gonna copy this and paste it down here. So this one is going to be get total expenses. Here we're gonna say expenses is equals to 0. Now we're gonna say select all from transactions where user ID is equals to, and type is equals to, so here is going to be expense. What do we need to change here? So this needs to be result. I need to get rid of this. So let's just get rid of this, because we're just gonna close the connection at the end either way. So let's just get rid of it now. Yeah, let's say for X and result, we're gonna say expenses plus or equals to, let's make this a float, or float of X and 7, if I'm not mistaken. Then we're gonna say self dot expenses is equals to expenses. So then if let's say we don't connect to our database or anything, so you're gonna say, let's say we have an error of some kind, right? So you're gonna say self dot expenses is equals to 0 here. So let's say if you look at an ATM machine, right? So if let's say you don't have you try to withdraw something and you don't have insufficient funds, right? So the system is not gonna break, it's just gonna throw you an error, but then it's gonna keep running. So that's what we're trying to simulate here. So that if there's an exception, let's say we don't get any data from the database or we don't connect to the database, we're just gonna get a warning pop up on our screens, right? But then the self-built expenses is just going to be set to 0. Okay, so now we need to copy, let's get rid of this spacing. Then we're gonna copy this, paste it down here. This is going to be, income. This is going to be income. Yeah, I think everything is now fixed now. We need to change this to get total income. Okay. This is looking okay. So now we need to say define get balance. Excuse me. Here we're gonna say self dot balance is equals to self dot income minus self dot expenses. Okay. So underneath this function, we're gonna put another function. So this one is going to be show transactions chart. Uh, so what we're gonna do, right? So this function, you can call it like with this what do you call it, an enter function, right? But usually when you're trying to call matplotlib charts in Kivy, right, you're just gonna have to call the kivy.clock function. So we're just gonna say clock.schedule once, then we call the function. So what we're gonna do here is once we have self in here, we're gonna say dt delta time delta, or let's just say star args. Then in here, right, so we're gonna say x is going to be an NP array. So the thing is this, right? So our system doesn't have any data, any transaction set. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna put yummy data. So this process is gonna take a little bit of time. So here I'm just gonna say 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 18, 14, 15. You guys are gonna have to forgive me for this one. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So let's just leave it at 28. So we're gonna copy this and paste it underneath here. So this one is going to be, the other one is going to be transactions. So now what we're gonna do here is just gonna be adding random numbers wherever we can just put them. So that because if we just leave it like this, right, our graph is gonna start at the bottom and going steadily upwards to the right side. So what we're gonna do here, maybe you're gonna say 11, you're gonna say 42, 63, 4, you're gonna say 53, 62, and let's just do this. Let's get rid of this. Yeah, let's say 200 is going to be 28, and be 275. So we're just putting some random numbers. So let's make this one 115, just like this. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna say x underscore smooth. So now what we're trying to do here is we're trying to make the line, the plot line, just to make it smooth. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna say x smooth, we're gonna say equals to np dot line space. Then we're gonna say x dot min comma x dot max. Then I'm gonna say 200, yeah. Okay, what seems to be the issue here. Okay, that's done. Then here we're gonna say transactions underscore smooth is equals to make interp spline. Then here we're gonna say x comma transactions. Then here we're gonna x underscore smooth. Okay, I need to get used to this keyboard ASAP. Then you're gonna say plt dot figure. Then when I say 3 comma fig size going to be 6,4. Let's give it a DPI of 100. Then we need to close this. Then we're gonna say plt dot clf. Here we're gonna say ax is equals to plt dot gci. Then we're gonna say ax dot finds. And we're gonna say top dot set underscore visible. Then it's going to be false. So we need to copy this and paste it 3 more times. So this one is going to be right, this is going to be left, and this is going to be bottom. And here we're gonna say plt dot read. So our color is going to be hashtag EA. Then our line style let's just put these 2 dots here, comma, our line width let's set it to 1, and then x is going to be y. So let's just put this in quotes. So here we're gonna say plt dot plot. Here we're gonna say x smooth, comma, transaction smooth, comma, color going to be hashtag let's say 007 ACC. I think this is sort of like a red bluish color, light bluish color. Then our line width is going to be 1, and our marker size is going to be 2. So now let's look at our image. So if you look at our image, right, we have this sort of like shadow thing under our plot line, right? So let's try create that before we just load this to our box layout. So let's go to our overview.py. Okay, so here we're gonna say plt dot fill between, and here we're gonna say x underscore smooth, transaction smooth, then color is going to be this hashtag 007 ACC. Oh, excuse me. Now I'm starting to lose my voice. Then you're gonna say alpha. So this is we're gonna say this is more like opacity. So you're gonna say 0,08. So now let's make sure this thing now we can be able to put it on our end Dropbox layout. So you're gonna say POT dot ytext font size going to be, let's say, 9, and the color, don't think we really need this, but let's just put it here. We're gonna say hashtag 555555. So now we're gonna say self dot ids dot transactions. I believe we call this one transactions plot. So you're gonna say transaction plot dot clear underscore widgets. Then you're gonna say, let me just copy this, then get rid of this clear widgets. Then you're gonna say add widget. Then you're gonna say fck plt dot gcf. So let's try running this and see if this worked. Let's stop. So after making these functions, right, we didn't call them. So right here we're gonna say we need to get rid of this. So here we're gonna say self dot get user id, self dot get total accounts dot get total income, self dot get total expenses. Then here we're gonna say clock dot schedule once. We need to import this from kivy.clock. So here we're gonna say self dot, what did we call the last function? Get transactions chat. So we're gonna paste this, then comma 0.1. Excuse me. So let's run this and see how this looks. Okay, so it seems as if we have an error. So let's just open this. Okay, error cannot import line star from SciPy special. So let's just go back to our last function just to make sure everything is okay. 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 So I'm going to start from the top just to make sure. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So now I'm here. I'm just trying to check. I'm going line by line. There's nothing wrong with these ones. So the issue was here. So where did we use this one? Uh, I don't see where I messed up here. Okay, seems as if we have another error here. Um, excuse me. Database FINAB does not exist. We just used it. Okay, so let's open Outlook.py, right? So our database is just fin. Okay. So here, let's get rid of the airport and rerun this. Okay. So our plot is looking like this. So I believe we can start working on the other window, on other screens. Yeah, let's try maximizing this. Okay, this looks good. Okay, so now I think we can first create categories, then create accounts, because these two we're just gonna be taking the category names and account names. But these two are going to be required when you're creating transactions, because we need to, let's say we add a transaction, we need to select the account and we need to select the category. So let's move on and create our categories. Okay. Um, let's go to our terminal. Here we're gonna say, okay, we're already in our view, so let's just press up again. So now we need to say categories. We just replaced the overview with categories. Okay, categories created successfully. Now let's minimize this. Let's go to our init.py. I need this overview and say import categories, views dot categories dot. Okay, then our home.kv, we need to change this to categories. Need to get rid of this overview.png. Let's go to our assets, images. We have categories here. Okay. Let's minimize this. Need to get rid of this. Okay, so let's leave auth. So let's just use Let's remove overview. We can leave this one here. Let's get rid of this. Let's move this one here. Okay. So looking at our image, right? So our categories, we have this we have a label here, search bar, and this add new button. Underneath that, we're gonna have this table. So let's go to our over what we call it, categories.kv. Okay, so here we're gonna add some padding, right? And we're gonna put some padding of 10 display pixel. Here we're gonna say converse dot before, then color RGBA. Here we're gonna say RGBA. Here we're gonna say hashtag F1. Then we're gonna say rounded rectangle. We're gonna say size to use self dot size, and pause going to be self dot pause -2 comma, and this one is going to be 1. Then our radius going to be 5,5,5,5. So we need to copy this and paste it underneath here. This is going to be 1,1,1,1. So this is going to be white, and we're gonna get rid of this and see how it looks. Okay, so let's open our categories. Okay, so this is looking okay. So let's go back to our image. So we need to create a box layout, horizontal box layout that's going to contain this label, this search box, and this add new button. So let's go back to our categories.kv. I'm just going to drag this and put this at the end here. Come on, what's this now? Okay. So here I'm going to say box layout. I'm going to say size int y. I'm going to set it to none. And our height, I'm going to set it to 30 display pixels. I'm going to give it some spacing of 10 display pixels. Underneath there, I'm just going to put an empty box layout for now. Inside this box layout, I'm going to add an MD label. And when I say text, the text is going to be 30 40s. The font style is going to be title raw. I'm gonna set it to medium, and bold going to be true. Underneath this MD label, I'm gonna put a box layout. Then we're gonna give this box layout some padding. You're gonna say 10 display pixels for the left and right side. Then let's say 2.5 display pixels for the top and bottom. So let's close this. Then we're gonna give this some spacing. We're gonna give some spacing of 10 display pixels. Then I'm gonna say converse dot before. So if you look at our image, right, you can what's wrong with our image now? Let me get rid of this and open it again. Categories. Okay. So this search box, right? We have a line surrounding it, then we have an icon, then we have the text area. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna create this line first, then add this icon, then add this text here. So let's go back to our categories.kv. So here we're gonna say color, then RGBA. We're just gonna maintain our gray color. This is going to be RGBA. So here hashtag AD8A8C. Then here we're gonna say line. So here we're gonna say rounded underscore rectangle. Here we're gonna say self dot x comma self dot y comma self dot width comma self dot height comma 1. Then you're gonna say width underneath. You're gonna say width, and it's going to be 1. Then inside this box layout, I'm gonna put a float layout. And we're gonna say size int x. We're gonna set it to none, and our width is going to be self dot height. Inside this float layout, we're gonna put an MD icon. So our icon is going to be magnify. Then when I say theme, text, color, when I set it to custom, then our theme text color, then our text color going to be, we're going to maintain the gray color again. So AD8A8C. Let's give this some position hint. So pause hint. So center X going to be 0.5. Then our center Y going to be 0.5 also. Then next to this MDI float layout, we're going to put a text field. Then we'll give this an idea of search. In text is going to be search dot dot dot. In a multi-line is going to be post. And our font size is going to be 11 scalable pixels. Then underneath the main box layout, we're gonna put a custom button. Our icon for the custom button is going to be plus. The text is going to be add new. Then size underscore int x. I'm gonna set it to none. And width, I'm gonna set it to 100 display pixels. I hope this is not too much. Then on press, so this is what's gonna happen when you press the button. So for now, we're just gonna say root dot open add model. So we haven't created this function yet, so we're not gonna press this button. Otherwise, system is gonna break and gonna stop running. So let's run this and see if this works, and if we don't have any errors. Okay, so let's open our categories. This is looking good. So let's look at our image again. So underneath that, we have this table head and the data underneath it. Now table data. So let's create this. Then gonna work on the table tabs. So let's go back to our categories.kv. Here, let's put a box layout. Then we're gonna give it a size int y of none, and our height, which we're gonna set to 30 display pixels. We're gonna give this box layout some spacing of 10 display pixels. Inside here, we're gonna put an MD label. Our text is going to be category. Text color going to be AD8A8C. Then font style going to be label. Raw going to be medium, and bold. I'm gonna set it to true. Underneath this MD layout, we're just gonna put a box layout. And this box layout, we're gonna give it a size int x. Which we're gonna set to none, and width, which we're gonna set to self dot height. Excuse me. So let's look at our image, right? So here, right, we're gonna have our categories being displayed, right? So let's say we have a lot of categories to be displayed, right? So we need to make this scrollable. So here we're gonna put a scroll view, then we're gonna put a grid layout. So everything else is gonna be displayed in grid form, but our grid is gonna be displaying one thing at a time. We're not gonna have like many things displayed horizontally. So let's go to our categories.kv. Inside the glass box layout, we're gonna put a scroll view. Then we're gonna say size int y, set it to none, and our height going to be self dot parent dot height. And inside here, we're gonna put a grid layout. Then we're gonna say cause, then one. Let's give this an ID. So our grid layout is gonna have an ID of categories underscore list. Then we're gonna give this a size int y, which we're gonna set to none, and our height, which we're gonna set to self dot minimum height. I'm gonna give this some spacing. So all our categories are gonna be spaced. They're gonna receive some spacing of 10 display pixels. So to avoid having like scroll bar just ruining the outlook of the system, what we're gonna do here, we're gonna say bar underscore width. I'm gonna set it to 0, and bar color underscore color. I set it to 0,0,0,0. So let's just run this and see if we don't have any errors. Okay, so now let's work on the category file and make sure everything is running well. So let's go back to our text editor. Minimize this, this, and this. Categories.py here. So we need to open overview.py file. We need to copy a few things from there. So let me just create more space here. So we need to copy this, and we're gonna paste it underneath here. Here we're gonna need a user ID. So user underscore ID equals to numeric property. Let's put a 0 just so as a placeholder. Then you're gonna say we're gonna need categories. Okay, and this is going to be list property, right? Let's go back to our overview.py. So we need to copy this, and we need to paste it here. What else do we need? We need to actually copy the function itself. Okay, so on top here we're gonna say self dot add category, and this one is going to be an empty list. So let's duplicate this. Okay, let's paste it again. So this one is going to be update, and this one is going to be delete, and we're gonna set this to none. Okay, we need to import this. Import. Okay, so let's go back to overview.py. So we need to copy this function here, get total expenses, and we're gonna paste it underneath here. So here it's going to be get categories. We need to import this. We need to copy this, and we need to paste it down here. This one is going to be select stuff from categories, and we need to get rid of this. So, and we need to get rid of this also. So here we're gonna say data is equals to here we're gonna say ID going to be X, 0, and name is going to be, I believe it was the third index, not sure.